Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Welcome back. I am Griffin Gaming RPG. For some reason, I felt the urge to say, well, hello there. For you Star Wars fans out there, got my Star Wars stuff on today. Hope you guys are doing well, doing good. I'm Griffin Gaming RPG, and we are back for Star Citizen this week. Not this week in Star Citizen this week. This is where I share with the community some of the latest things that have been going on, and you have an opportunity to come in and talk with me if you'd like, or put it in the text chat, whatever you'd like to do. Just talking about all the cool stuff that's happening in Star Citizen. We are in a very unique period of time with the development of Star Citizen. I've been following Star Citizen since 2013 officially. I glanced at it in 2012, but I've been following it since 2013. And I've been backing since, I can never remember when I started backing. It was either late 2013 or beginning of 2014. I can never remember, but I do remember it was 2013 when I was looking at it in a very serious way. And over the years, we have had our roller coaster ride when it comes to the development of Star Citizen and Squadron 42, particularly for me, Star Citizen. I've said this before on previous streams. When I heard about the project, and I've started to begin to understand what it was about, because this is all, when crowdfunding was kicking off and it was like still a thing, and I was still learning about what crowdfunding was. Once I started to understand what this process was about, I kind of took the position of it's gonna be a while before the persistent universe comes out. I was hopeful for Squadron 42 coming out sooner. And I think that's because, like many people, in the beginning, I thought that they had been working on it for a little while. I didn't realize that in 2012, they were literally nothing more than a cinematic and some ideas. And so I thought that, like most times when you hear about a game, you hear about it, and then within 3 years, 4 years, boom, it comes out. And I think a lot of people in the community probably felt that way back then. But lo and behold, they were literally starting from scratch with a company and everything. Hey, Captain Jones, how are you, buddy? Devil, Stingray, hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for being here. But yeah, I kind of thought that, within maybe 3-4 years, this game would launch. I didn't ever really, I don't know, Kickstarters were so new back then. I don't remember. I just remember about the giving, the amounts of money. And of course, your eyes get drawn to that because you see, $500, $1,000 and everything. And I didn't read all the small print per se. I just thought that the project had started. You see the cinematic, you say, oh, wow, they've got some progress going. And so I thought the Squadron 42 would come out 3 to 4 years, right? Like a lot of people, right? CIG even said 2015, 2016, it's going to come out. But Star Citizen, the persistent universe, I was like, that's going to take a while. Mostly because I came out of playing Eve. And at that time, I want to say Eve had been around. I want to say I came into Eve around the second or third year, something like that. And, Eve had been around like 10 years at that point, and I was like, they're still working on this thing, and of course, Eve didn't have the technical depth of Star Citizen. You were on the single shard and everything. You had like 20,000 people out there playing. And you had your ships, and you had the different, systems that you could go to. But still, it was all third person. There was no first person perspective. The level of detail and immersion, even though Eve could be very immersive, was nowhere near the same. The scope wasn't the same, right? So I'm like, okay, if they've taken their 7 years on this, it's got bugs in it. A lot of the mechanics aren't in it. They're still putting out DLCs every 6 months or whatever. I'm like, okay, if I use Eve's idea, Civil Star Citizen is going to probably take even longer. So for me, my brain was always 10 years for Star Citizen, at least 10 years, especially once I started realizing that the development process was, really at its genesis at the very beginning. So I guess for me, my mental space for this has been I'm okay. Not that I don't get disappointed, but I just kind of had that in my head a long time ago that the persistent universe was going to take a while. So the reason why I'm saying all this is because I was opening up talking about we're in a unique time. And even though we've had those times where we feel like things are imminent and it's right around the corner, and back in the, you don't hear this anymore, but around 2016, 17, 18, there was this term, the Jesus patch, right? It was going to be that patch that launched us into, all the things that Star Citizen is supposed to be. And then I think after about maybe 2018, that phrase kind of died out. I think even Jesus got tired of it, right? So, because people kept getting disappointed. We kept thinking that when this comes, this will be it. But we were all learning about game development and the process of development. And so I think that we're at this weird space now. The Holy Ghost patch, is that where it is now, Fastcart? I'm not going to even blaspheme at that level. I'm going to leave God out of this completely. This is a matter of man, and whenever we get it together, right? So we are at in my assessment, we are at a turning point. Some of us who were around back when we were in 2.6 in the game saw that turning point when we got to 3.0. There was a huge leap in technology, not just in technology, content, gameplay, the community. There was a lot that happened. And as we're just less than 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks away from CitizenCon. I sense that we are on the cusp of that same thing again, that we are at a place where things in the game are going to dramatically change. What's going on, Admiral? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Eminence, good to see you as well. Thank you. I feel like we're in this really weird space right now. It's a optimistic place. It's a scary place because like many of us, we've been here before, and we don't want to be disappointed again. But I think that there's enough evidence there right now, especially over the past 2 weeks, to give us some reassurances about where CIG is and what it is they want to do. So I don't want to belabor that point, but I want to say that because of what we're getting ready to look at today on the show for Star Citizen this week. Because there's a lot that's been going on, and I would love to get you guys' feelings and thoughts on this as well. So feel free to drop it in the chat. I'll do my best to read while I'm reading, because there's a lot to read this week. Or if you want to come into the channel, there's a link there. If I hit a subject and you've got something you'd like to say or share your thoughts, feel free to do that. You're always welcome to come in with me and talk. So let me get beyond my yapping and my prologue or my monologue, and let's talk about what's going on. This week in Star Citizen, this was the letter that came out this week. Pardon me. This happy Monday. We're less than 3 weeks away from our biggest CitizenCon event ever, and the excitement is palpable. After 4 years, we can't wait to see you in return of an in-person celebration of all things Star Citizen, and most importantly, you, the community. There are still some tickets available, so please be sure to pick them up before they run out. For everyone who can't make it out to LA, you can still be a part of the celebration and enjoy the live show on Twitch. Don't forget, you can also snag some swag this year from the digital goodies pack. To help you best prepare for the show, we put together a nifty pocket guide. It is a nice guide. For more information on this upcoming 2-day event, including the event schedule, event map, and more, it's just around the corner, so keep an eye out. Last Friday, we rolled out Alpha 3.21 to the PTU, alongside with some messaging to give you more details on what to expect for this upcoming patch cycle. The PTU is currently accessible by all waves, so you can hop in and try it for yourself. Bear with me for 1 second here. I'm going to click on this because I meant to pull this up and I didn't have it in my queue of things to look at. Okay, so let me put that there. Okay. Well, you know what, guys? I'm so sorry. I always do this before the show starts. I blow up the wording so that you guys can read it too, so it's not so you had to put a freaking magnifying glass up to your monitor. Okay. Let's see. Alpha 3, on the Alpha 3 2.0 front, we're aware that some of you may still be encouraging issues with connectivity and or gameplay. While we have rolled out some fixes and have squashed many of these bugs, the team is hard at work on additional fixes to get things running smoothly as quickly as possible. If you are encountering issues, check out the known issues list, blah, 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 blah. You guys know about that contributing to the issue council. In other news, the community has spoken and we have listened. Master Mode's free flight will be enabled indefinitely and excluded from the Arena Commander experimental mode section rotation. As it is special significance to Star Citizen's future, we want to be accessible to you at all times. As always, you can look forward to your valued feedback, so don't forget to share your input. Let's see what was going on this week. On Tuesday, they published the subscriber monthly newsletter, which we'll talk about in the subscriber comm link. On Wednesday, that's today. Oh no, it's yesterday. They'll be able to. Will be a day of developmental updates with our bi-weekly roadmap, complimentary roadmap roundup, as well as the September monthly reports for both Citizens and Squadron 42. Don't forget to subscribe to Squadron 42 newsletter. There's plenty of stuff. We're going to cover that today. Today on Thursday, Inside Star Citizen will be back with a sprint report that's going to be cool and more, concluding the season before we take our scheduled hiatus. Speaking of sprint, what would you run away from? That's right, the whole month of Terror awaits as the Day of Vara celebration begins. And then wrapping up this week on Friday, you'll find our weekly RSI newsletter directly delivered to your inbox. There won't be an episode of Star Citizen Live this week, but stream will return next Friday. Again, don't forget that a lot of the team went to LA to start getting things together, start prepping. So that's why there's no SCL. P.S. This Saturday, our friends from XGR will be celebrating their 2-year anniversary. They're inviting you to join in the racing festivities at the Lorville Outskirts track. Bring your Origin 300 series ships for a winding good time. And starting pistol goes off at 1800 UTC, 11 a.m. Pacific. Excuse me. Saturday also marks the launch of Verse at War event. Wow. Where 100 Spanish and French-speaking community members will engage in a massive space battle and put some ships through their paces starting at 1900 UTC, 12 p.m. Pacific time. That should be pretty cool. All right. That's from Freya. That's our new community manager that we talked about a couple weeks ago. All right. So that's the schedule for this week. Lots of cool stuff going on. The experimental commander, arena commander experimental mode schedule. You guys know this is the schedule that they posted of things that you can go in and test out that they rotate. And Tank Royale was added last week. And now they're saying that Arena Commander is going to remain outside of that. Now it'll be there all the time. It won't be on this rotation anymore. So get in and check this stuff out, gang. A lot of fun. I did get a chance to do this. I pulled the video and posted it in the Soul Citizens channel, but I haven't had a chance to look at this yet. It's from the Community Hub. This was the MVP for this week. We constantly amazed at the contributions by Star Citizen community, whether it's fan art, blah, 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 skip all that. But anyway, this is the new keybinds thing. For those of you who don't know, there are some new keybinds in 3.20 that dropped in. There's actually some more stuff, even in 321 that they dropped into, some really, really cool stuff. So make sure you guys check this. This was done by Von Clutch. It lives up to their name with a time-saving quick guide of the main updated keybinds for both mouse and keyboard and joystick setups. So for those of you who are ready to pull your hair out some more about keybinds, and especially those of us with joysticks, I've got my 2 VKBs here right now, and I ended up going to Trip Rodriguez had a video on the community page. Thank you, Trip. And I used his. It did bring about a new way to look at piloting, and so I just got back into flying my old way, and now I'm trying his way. And his way, even though it's messing my brain up, I get why it's the way it is. So I've been trying that out. So far, we'll see how I handle this whole new joystick thing. But so far, it's been pretty cool. Let's see. What we got in here? You're sick. Oh, no. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, Admiral. Dude, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better. Hey, Abdi. Good to see you, buddy, on your lunch break. Awesome. Let's see who else is in here today. Pops in Space is here. Hey, what's going on, Yo-Yo? Good to see you. Yo-Yo Meg. We're just a couple away. Meg's first CitizenCon, y'all. She gonna have a blast. I'm telling y'all, I can't wait. I'm so excited for her going. Anytime somebody is their first time going. You know, Pops is first time going. Fist is first time going. I think almost everybody other than Fast Cart from the Soul Citizens team, it's their first time going. BBG, Geo's been there before. Yes, I am like so excited. Oh, yo, you're gonna have a blast. You are gonna have a blast. Trust me. You're gonna have to come out that shell, girl. You're gonna love it. Trust me. You're gonna love it. You're gonna have a lot of fun. I guarantee you're gonna have a lot of fun. Okay. Let's get past this week in Star Citizen stuff. Let's talk about what they talk about with Alpha 3.21. Now, you guys know this was an unexpected patch drop. Nobody saw this coming. Of all the people I watched and listened to, none of us saw 3.21 coming now. In fact, I had even said, that 3.20 would be out and be ready by the time CitizenCon came around because they could not afford for that game to be that patch to be totally buggy and then also talk about new stuff. And then I said 3.21 will drop sometime in the fourth quarter, which is when it was scheduled to drop. Well, lo and behold, CIG fooled us and dropped it on September 30th, right? At the end of the third quarter. And of course, it's going to be our fourth quarter patch. We're going to get a 3.21.1, probably, maybe even a 0.2. But the fact is that they move forward. And I guess in some ways we should have saw this coming. And the reason why I'm saying that is because as we all were starting to get into 3.20, more and more people were saying that 3.20 was more of a quality of life patch. It wasn't that it was introducing a lot of new features, even though there was a lot of new stuff in like Arena Commander and stuff like that, but it was really quality of life. And we kind of should have figured that if they were working on quality of life, then the bigger feature related stuff was going to be coming in the next patch. And even so, not that we would have expected it would have came so early, but we should have figured that to a certain degree, it wasn't a content heavy patch, even though it had a lot of stuff in it, right? So maybe we should have seen that coming, but I'm pretty excited about it. Let's see. They were off by a simple order of magnitude is all. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. This is from Balt. Says Star Citizen Alpha. Let me blow this up again so you guys can read a little bit better here. The Alpha Star Citizen 3.21 is just released to the PTU. The primary reason for this non-linear change from 320.1 to 3.21 is to signify Star Citizen approaching the next major milestone in its online networking technology, which is what we've been waiting on, right? During the 3.21 patch cycle, we will introduce a new testing. Check this out. This is really important. There's a new testing channel aimed at graduating new underlying technology. This new channel allows for the dev teams to get players on a version of the game that matches the current live release in both content and features, but it also introduces the large tech changes that must be validated, graduated, and ultimately mission proven before making their way to a live release. So basically, the PTU and the PU, the live server, are identical, except for they're feeding new stuff into the PTU to see how all this new technology is going. And eventually they will gradually migrate that over to the live. This isn't the same as like the normal, we're going to put out a patch and then drop everything. You get what I'm saying. I don't have to, you guys are educated. I don't have to explain all this. Okay. The first project to enter this new technology preview channel is the replication layer. Really important, you guys. We were dealing with PES, persistent entity streaming previously. Now we're moving to that next stage. It's moving towards server meshing, and that's the replication layer. Which is a core networking part of server meshing infrastructure. In this update, the game's networking replication and state are separated from the game server into its own service. So they are now moving the replication layer, which was before in with the game servers, is now on its own thing. Okay, so the game clients are connected to this new service, and the game server itself becomes a client with authority on the replication layer. With the replication moving off the game servers, the team is hoping to begin testing server recovery without disconnecting game clients from the universe state on a given shard. So this basically should help us with the whole 30K thing. Basically, recovery should be now a thing, okay, inconsistent. In short, this is the next step toward testing components of server meshing after deploying persistent entity streaming earlier this year. For the time being, the game server is will only be managing the stanton system. Get my words right, Stanton. So you won't notice much of a change in your experience. However, this is a critically important step as we progress toward Alpha 4.0 and beyond. We'll share more information about the Alpha 3.21 in our upcoming roadmap update next week. You can also look ahead to CitizenCon for more information about the preview channel and how it will play a vital role in further bringing our shared universe to life. Okay, so that's giving us our background there for why 3.21 isn't about features, it's about the tech, the networking, about all this new stuff that's moving towards server meshing, something that we have all been waiting on for a very, 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 very long time. Don't go chasing waterfalls. I love that. All right. Up next, 4.0 maybe. I don't know, Pops. I think they're going to be a 3.21, a 221.1. You know, and here's, you know, we could talk about the reality of where they're going with all this stuff, but, and I'll talk about this at the end too. Let's talk about the calendar, right? We've got CitizenCon, we got IAE, then we got the holidays, then we've got the staff break that takes place at the beginning of the year. Now, I was watching Super Mac Brothers today, and he was talking about hope, and we said this too, that we were hoping that maybe Ivacati would get 4.0 during the holidays. I don't know if that's going to happen. There's a lot going on. I mean, they weren't getting ready for IAE, and they had all that time to come up to the holidays, maybe. But there's a lot going on. Now, I'm not saying that they can't. They could. But I'm kind of drifting more into 4.0 being a first quarter, second quarter thing of next year. That's me. That's me reading the tea leaves. No insight. Just looking at how things are falling. And if they do 4.0, maybe Ivacati gets at the beginning of next year. And then maybe by second quarter next year, we get it. Maybe. Some people say third quarter next year. It could be. Because if you time it with Gamescom and stuff, that would be like a cool time, right? To kick it off and publicly announce it and everything. That could be. But yeah, it's so close at this point, considering we've been around for a while. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into some stuff. Let's play catch up. CitizenCon, less than 2 weeks away. For those of you who are planning on going, look forward to a great event. Not just because of what CIG may put on stage, but honestly, because of the people that you're going to meet and all the cool stuff that you're going to do. If you've never been to Los Angeles before, you'll probably really, really enjoy that. I don't know where all this hate comes from for LA. I'm not an LA fan, by the way. I'm not. I've been to LA enough that I go there. And usually when I go there now, it's just to go do something and leave. I don't even tour. But I know there's all these weird feelings about Los Angeles. But listen, aside your fears. You're going to have a good time when you're in LA. You're going to be hanging out with some really, really cool people. You probably may not even get a chance to see much of LA if you're coming for the convention, because the convention is really going to dominate your time. I guarantee you, if you get there Friday and you go to a Friday night event and then you go to a Saturday night event, plus go to the convention, then go to Sunday, you're going to be pooped and you ain't going to have no time to go see nothing. Unless you stay to go to Disney or something else, I'm not sure how much time you're going to have, okay? But you will enjoy yourself while you're in Los Angeles, especially with the people that are there. Very quickly, you guys know about the digital goodies pack. They do have an FAQ page about the con. They do have a welcome to Los Angeles. For your tourist and you want to check out some things in LA, there's some stuff there. They are going to be doing community booths this year. Very interesting what they're going to be doing this year. I'm excited about what they're going to be doing because the Seoul citizens are going to have a community booth. We've already got some things in place and ordered some things. And so we're excited to see you guys. There's Sigelian dressed in his white. He always is dressed so cool. He said this year he's going to be coming different. And he told us the other day what he's going to be coming as, but he's going to be dressed differently this year. Cosplay contest. Those of you who are into cosplay, the whole dress up thing, that's going to be cool. There's going to be the fight or flight competition that they're going to do at the con this year. So that's going to be great. That means they're going to have a lot of rigs probably set up. Don't know who's going to be donating the rigs, but somebody's company will be, having these rigs there, and you'll probably get to go out and test fly new stuff as well. Digital goodies pack, we talked about that. That's out. That's been out for a while. And then last but not least, they finally took down the VIP tickets. So I guess that is definitely a done deal. Now, the only thing that's there are general access tickets. 2 days access to the event. You get your digital goodies pack. You get a physical swag bag. And they say other fun surprises, like spending more money. That'll be another fun surprise, right? So you can still buy tickets for this. We do know, how can I say this? Say it the right way. Tyler had posted a week after this went on that they had doubled the amount of people that had been at the CitizenCon in Germany, I think it was, in 2019, wherever it was in 2019, Germany, Manchester, whatever, but they had doubled that number. So that was at least 2,800 people, because I think they had like 1,400 people there. So we know that there's at least 3,000 plus people coming to the event. This is the biggest one, because when we were there in Austin in 2018, there were 1,800 people. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of folks and a lot of fun. So I'm so excited for this. Okay. Let's see. Here's that pocket guide they talked about. We went through this last week. The only thing I do want to update you on is that they have not dropped the event schedule yet. I would assume that within the next week, maybe by next week when we come on, we'll probably see the schedule. They have not dropped the map, because that's going to show us the layout of the facility at the Los Angeles Convention Center. So we'll probably see that. There is a cool Q&A thing here. If you guys have not looked at it, I'm not going to go through all this today because we did it last week. But check it out. A lot of good stuff here if you're planning on going. The pocket guide is really, really good, and it's much bigger than your pocket. Let's see what's next here. This is the monthly report. Okay, guys, this week I am not going to read all the monthly report. I'm not. It's huge. There's a lot of good stuff here. If there's something that you guys want me to read, I'll read it. But I know when I read this, I am so tired by the time I get to the end of this. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Is it that long? Yeah, this is kind of long, man. Okay, you know what? Do you guys want me to read it? I can, I guess. Let me see how much stuff I got. I got the subscriber promo, Halloween, roadmap roundup, and the jump point. We're at 12:20. Nah, Kai says nah. What about the economy? Okay, just talk. Okay, all right, I'll tell you what. I'll do highlights, okay? I'll pull highlights from stuff that looks interesting to me. And if you guys see something, then fine. Okay, AI. Something that I know we're always kind of interested in. This is in September, mind you. Don't forget we're in October, so this is last month. The features team focused on ongoing male and female animation retargeting, ensuring that Pyro's female characters are up to the same standard as the male counterparts. Recent work included retargeting combat and social animations. On the code side, the team worked on PU performance in the upcoming patch. They also solved issues involving NPCs not reacting to players pointing guns at them and fixed bugs with usable alignment slots not working. We had talked about this in the last patch, that the AI now will react if a gun is pointed at them. They did it a little while ago back in the bunkers, but we actually saw that happen at R-Corp, at one of the vending areas. Somebody had a gun pointing at them, and the people at the vending area, the guy at the vending thing ducked behind the his little cart, and the people in front started hollering, and they were reacting to. They didn't run, but they did physically like respond, like that kind of thing, whatever, when you did it. So yeah, we'll see where that goes with that. Let's see, AI tech. This is something I don't remember reading about before. I'm not going to read that. That's long because I can see I'm going to get into the weeds with that. With animation, last month, the animation team worked toward ensuring that all male animations are also available for the female animation. Thank God. I'm glad about that. You'll see female characters doing more in the upcoming patch. Keep in mind that with this large volume, there will be considerable visual artifacts that we need to sort out the animation team. They also are created the initial animations for a new creature. Woo. They also created an initial animation for a new creature. Okay, so two things. One, CIG, please get on the ball for the female characters. Please, 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 please. Okay, I play a male character and a female character. I have two different accounts. I hate that when I go buy clothes, I'm a clothes hog, right? I go buy clothes like crazy. And I literally, if it's a guy, I can just put it on. I see it. I like it. Boom, boom, boom. If it's a woman's character, I've got to take it off, try it on to see if it actually goes on the female character, which sucks. It's terrible. And I know the ladies who play the game want to be able to step into their role. We always talking about immersion, but you're not letting the ladies emerge into the game. So please, please, please give them the clothes, give them the hair, give them the stuff that they need so that we'll see more ladies stepping into the game and playing the game. Okay. I don't want to live in a galaxy with a bunch of dudes. Okay, I'm just kidding, guys. But I don't. I want to see a fully fleshed out world. So please, please, please get the ladies their stuff. All right. New creature. Yes. Don't know which creature this is. Yeah, I'm curious. You guys have heard me say this about the Boreal Stalker. I can't wait till the Boreal Stalker's in the game. Not because I want to hunt it, not because I'm ready to go get its skin, but because I want it to be a threat. Listen, the threat I want the Boreal Stalker to be, I want this thing to be like the freaking, I don't know, man. I want this thing to be like, I want the Boreal Stalker to be where you need about 20 people to kill this thing. Seriously. I want it to be, it's supposed to be an apex threater. I don't want this thing where you can go out with a freaking railgun, hit it, and it's dead. That's weak. You know what I'm saying? That's like taking an elephant gun and shooting a deer. No, I don't want that. I want this thing to be formidable. I want it to be somewhat rare. You know what I mean? Like, it should be like the Sasquatch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want like this, you can just go out there and start hunting a pack of them or something. But I want this thing, when this thing shows up, somebody says, hey man, look, there's a freaking, and you freak out. And man, if this thing starts running towards you, your first reaction is not to pull out your gun as much as it is, can I get to my ship? That's what I want this thing to be, okay? But that's just me. I want this thing to be serious. I want to go into somebody's house and there's like 20, Boreal Stalker heads on the wall. you know, this thing should be very threatening to us and whatever. But that's just me. Okay, I won't belabor that point. But the new creature, curious as to what that could be. We are going into Pyro, and I'm hoping that Pyro is the introduction to beasties, you know, to animals and stuff. I know Stanton is like the testing ground, and that's fine. The Boreal Stalker could be that, whatever. But, you know, I really want them to, this is a new creature, which means that it's probably something we haven't heard about. Because we've heard about the space cow, we've heard about the crab, you know, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, I'll move on past that point. Art area in September, the character art finished the Headhunter outfit and progressed into the Dusters outfit. That's cool. The Dusters are one of the gangs. Along with this character concept team, explored ideas for fauna and medical backpacks and prepared handoff sheets. The medical backpacks, they actually do have that. They'll show it in the subscriber, I think the monthly report. And those look really cool. I'll show you those in a little bit. They didn't have the racing suit in there. Oh, maybe they did. Excuse me. Oh boy, didn't mean to belch in the microphone. Art with ships. In the U.S. Ooh, I'm getting warm. Turn on the fan here, guys. Sorry. In the U.S., the new vehicle variant was completed with a bug fixing and polish. Now, we know one of the variants that people have been talking about is that for the cutter. I think there's one or two variants for that. I'm assuming that that's probably what this is. The white box for one of the new vehicles mentioned in the previous PU report is nearing completion. Last month, the team solved some of the space issues, opting for smaller beds and a tighter layout. They also separated out the base model from the variants. The APOA Suntucky is almost content complete, including cockpit animations that heavily lean into the alien language. The interior damage pass is also nearly done, including a new map generated specifically for APOA. Upcoming tasks include lighting polish before the LOD pass. Finally, work continued on remote tractor beam gameplay, including how the hard point should be used to create best player experiences. Now, let me go back to the Suntucky. We remember a few months back where they tried to get the Suntucky in. They said that they didn't have the cockpit console together, so it got held up. We didn't get it for Alien Week, which I was hoping for, which is back in May or June. So now we're finally hearing that this thing is wrapping up. I do know on the progress tracker that it was supposed to be wrapping up at the beginning of October. So hopefully they will get the lighting pass done. If we don't see it at CitizenCon, we're probably guaranteed to see it at IAE, obviously, because that's the time when the sales are going to come out, and it'll be a perfect time to display it during the alien ship times for APOA. So we'll have to see. Yeah, Eminence, I know that idea of the Zeus Mark II. I heard that it was in the code. I heard about it when I first heard about the Zeus. People kept saying the Zeus, and I kept saying they're not going to give us the Zeus. That's a freaking old ship. But then when I heard that the code said Zeus 2, then I said, ooh, okay, well, maybe RSI is going to put out a new edition of it. It would be cool to see what that turns out to be. I would probably tell you this, if it went on sale, they'll probably sell a lot of them just because of the history aspect of it, regardless of what the freaking thing looks like, right? But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that one. The remote tractor beams, you guys know they're working on tractor beams. That's supposed to be a part of 3.21, if I'm not mistaken, so that'll be coming out. Audio, last month the audio focused on Pyro, ensuring essential sound effects were implemented. They also finished tasks on several upcoming ships that are actively working on new audio thrusters and components. For those of you who haven't checked out the audio, man, they did a show on this just too recently. The audio in the game is sounding amazing in the ships. I was in a Hull A last night flying out to Pyro, trying to capture some footage, and man, there's a distinctive sound in every ship now. You can tell when you're in a Misk ship, Drake ship, and an Origin ship. And I love the fact that it's that distinctive. You know, it's not so distinctive that it stands out, but if you just stop and listen, you realize that the ship, especially if it's the ship that you don't fly in regularly, when you get in there, you can hear all of the sounds of the engine, and it's very, very cool. We already know about the Citizen stuff. We talked about that CitizenCon and everything coming up. Mr. Gasket, thank you. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you being here. We all know that Port Olisar, great little graphic here. Goodbye. We will never forget you. So many people have done this shot before, something similar to this, where they've kind of stood on their deck or stood on the deck of Port Olisar and did the salute. Very cool. For those of you who've been around for a long time, Port Olisar has a place in our heart. For those of you who are new to the game, Port Olisar has a place in your computer. That's about it. You know, we probably don't care, but there's a big deal about that. We know that they started Pirate Week. We went through all that. They did the treasure hunt screencast test. The Alpha 3.2 fully loaded came out. The whole C Q&A, the Mariah Q&A came out. And of course, the experimental mode schedule came out. We talked about that. Okay. Let's see. In-person socializing was not neglected as we brought developers and Banu Tholo code cards to a fantastic Vara citizen event that was held at a public amusement park in Vienna, Austria. Vienna. Guten Tag. That's good night, right? Okay. In Vienna, Austria. So that's very cool. They had a nice crowd here. Really, really nice crowd. Nobody I know here. The only person I would know would have been, I don't know anybody in Vienna, Austria. Now I think about it. Yeah, that's very cool. Okay, Admiral Kusanagi, you asked for it. The economy. The economy team set up shops and 3 jump point stations to provide the hull, sea, and other cargo ships with additional trade routes. Okay, we know that. They also worked on rebalancing commodity trading in the Stanton and Pyro as part of the larger initiative to improve the gameplay experience for haulers and traders. Okay, so there you go, Admiral. They are working on commodity trading to be tied in for these two. That ought to be something good for those of you who are into trading. Economy then supported other teams such as character art, interactables with pricing for new player equipment. Okay. Lastly, the tool that extracts game live data to help inform the profitability of various gameplay loops and assist balancing was completed. Okay, so it looks like they are trying to get ready to kick some economy off in some form, whether it's tied into Quanta and all that stuff, maybe not, but maybe it just be based on the players. That would be very cool. Geez, oh boy, do I really want to eat this? Okay, I'm not going to get all into the deep weeds of this. What I do want to talk about this, though, is this. Besides release work, the teams rolled out Star Build, the custom code build system, and updated the Visual Studio for version 2022. They are looking like they're doing some stuff for Gen 12, which is cool. They want to do some stuff that's going to use less better GPU and less CPU cost. I need a tech head here because I don't want to get into that. I'll be saying something dumb. The features team, alongside squashing significant bugs, many of them worked on the year to receive a second pass to improve quality and feel. Yes, if you do go into the game, guys, you'll do see that the game performance is up. You see that there has been probably another graphics or lighting pass. The game looks a little different, again, a little darker. Colors are much deeper and richer. You don't have that flat look that's been there a little while, that high gamma look. Let's see. Let me skip. Gameplay. People are always interested in gameplay. The EU-PU team continued working toward the release of the game ship Tractor Beam, including an update to the general salvage HUD to allow it to show Tractor Beam information, which is still in progress. A lot of you guys know that the multi-tool now can give you information. If you use it to pick up an item, it'll tell you what's in the container. So if you're picking up Laranite, it'll say Laranite or gold or whatever it is. Several important bug fixes were also done. They did a thing to fix instability problems with server performance and adding a temporary fix to the speed of hull scraping. Team also made significant progress on structural salvage, formerly known as munching, and continued their ongoing work. We don't have munching yet, but being able to grind up the materials. You guys know the Vulture has this opening maw in the front of it. Will stuff be able to get ground up? The Reclaimer has the big spinning grinders inside. You have to tractor beam stuff in, and that'll be getting ground up as well. Features for the missions. Here we go. Mission features continue to work on modularizing the new player experience. We know about that. New Babbage saw its first working version. Let's see. Okay, various mission content was also worked on, including reactivation of the Crusader platform missions, which tentatively passed the Go No-Go review. Blockade Runner also progressed through development following internal playtests and bye-bye. Both those new mission things are now in 3.21. We already know that's coming. Still Evidence, we know that passed Go No-Go, so that's in the game now also. Data Heist, we just saw that, the new Data Heist. They showed that on ISC last week. So we know that that's going to be coming. Siege of Orison 1.1, the new platforms, that's going to be in. Team also continued to balance the cargo manifest system for bounty and salvage missions, and designs were pitched. There have been some issues in relation to the cargo manifest system, guys. You guys know when you go to a kiosk and you want to sell something, it'll usually show the boxes and show what's sitting there. There was a weird bug that had it where if stuff was, it would only recognize stuff that was on the grid. That was a new bug, because before it used to recognize everything, but everything would be the same. But now it would, but these last patches, it would only recognize what's on the grid. The stuff that was stacked would not get recognized. And that was a problem selling items. I don't know if they fixed that yet, but I do know last week that was a bug. Features, vehicle. The vehicle gameplay team focused on bug fixing quality of life for 3.20. Flight balance, health, stability. Some ships were tweaked overall to improve balance. The team also provided feature support for resource network, allowing items placed inside the interior object containers to blocks complete and are currently being balanced to ensure they look good under the game's variety of conditions. R&D on global illumination is merged into the main branch to see working across PU locations. Work also continued on several long-term features such as fire support for entities and screen space occlusion effects for gas clouds to increase the lighting detail and support for Maelstrom, the new physics destruction system. They've talked about Maelstrom in the past. By the way, for those of you who got a chance to go into 3.21, you'll see that they've been progressing the cloud tech for the wormhole. It looks amazing. I'll get to that at the end of the show. In-game branding. Last month, branding progressed with navigational signs. They put up a whole bunch of new signs now, especially a lot of holograms, especially when you go out to the jump point. You'll see a whole lot of new stuff out there. Here are the cool interactables I was talking about the med kit. We saw them do this on the SCL one day where they started working on this idea. The interactables team progressed through various upcoming content, including a variety of new style props, supported ongoing development of new underground facilities. So this is like that new medical kit. They showed this. This is kind of cool. You can put all the little med pins in it. Right now, if you carry a box around, you don't know what's in it. It's the gray box and that's it. Now, when you see this, you'll know exactly what it is. It's got the cross on the top, and inside you can see what might be inside of it. You've got the refills there for the med gun, and then you've got the hermoid, whatever it's called. The red, but the red, you got those in there too. Very cool. I love the fact of the way that looks. Lighting. They worked on many initiatives, skip all that. Locations, last month. The locations continued developing a variety of new locations for the Pyro. They also worked on several legacy locations in pursuit of maintaining the wider Stanton system and supported the mission feature team on upcoming initiatives. I love the fact of the new Rastar, how now when it puts the bases in, they have a different look. They don't all look the same. They're spread out more, different facilities. Gun turrets are no longer just in those 4 positions. Sometimes they're up on a hill, sometimes they're hidden behind a rock. That's all very cool what they did with Rastar. And it's also cool to see these new UGFs. Those facilities are huge. Can't wait to see these. Sandbox and Organics teams progressed with several upcoming locations, including Pyro and the new UGFs, the new underground facilities. Look at the scale of this thing. This is on the top of one of these things. You guys can see the rover there and stuff, and you see how small it is to this thing. Narrative team closing out remaining bugs in the release of 3.20. Looking ahead, the team completed work on another batch of missions for Pyro organizations and gangs. That's good to know. They did updates to Whitley's Guide for the Santokiai, Lore Masters, and also the Galactopedia. I'm speeding through this stuff, guys, now because my time is zooming by. Let's see. Tech animation. Great progress has been made on creating and implementing creatures across the PU. As part of this work was done on tool sets for rigging and physics, proxy, authoring, and implementation. Comms calls and dialogue were a major focus in September, with the goal being to create content at speed. Finally, they continue to provide additional faces for the game to source from, providing much more variation in NPC populations. That is something that's nice, that NPCs are starting to look different. You're not seeing the same faces, which you never really saw the same faces, but they're just making them more distinctive. VFX team. Last month, the VFX team progressed with a variety of Pyro locations. Several vehicles were worked on too, and with more being completed. They also focused on bug fixing in 3.20. Okay. Whew. Okay, there we go with that, gang. That was the September monthly report for the PU. Let me close this, and go to this, and here. Okay, let me see what you guys say in the chat here. Let's see. Hey, prisoner, good to see you. Valkyrie, thank you. Good to see you. Okay, let's move on. October 2023 subscriber promotions. It's a spooky season. in and out of the verse to get the spirit into the spirit. We're giving subscribers the opportunity to embrace the horrors of the classic sci-fi video with exclusive Lost Plague helmets. Plus, subs can pick at the decaying carcasses of dead ships across the system in October's Ship of the Month. Trick's Solo Salvager is perfect for lone pilots looking to make a living on the edge of society. Don't stray too far alone. What do you guys think of this? It's interesting. I don't know. The whole Vara thing is cool. I love the lore of Vara. We'll talk about that in a second. But I don't know. It's a Lost Plague helmet, but it looks like it's using that jumpsuit. Is that jumpsuit new? Because the jumpsuit looks like the old jumpsuit. Maybe I'm wrong. In-game reward flares. Infect your friends with the Day of Vara spirit when you wear this helmet inspired by the hit, Lost Plague. The helmet perfectly replicates the horrifying death of Xeric Diane Wu, the first victim of the ancient alien virus she unwittingly released on an unsuspecting galaxy. I don't know. I guess I want like a radioactive suit. Maybe that's what it is. I want a little bit more than that. I want a little bit more than that. It's just not enough there for me. CC's conversion utilized a proprietary lightweight yet sturdy rubber to accurately reproduce this deadly plague signature spine so you can enjoy hours of wear without straining your neck. Current Centurion level subscribers get the radioactive yellow as part of their subscription. Okay. Here's the blue. Same thing. If you are an Imperator, you get the yellow and the blue. And then you got the explosive orange. And everybody's got to buy that if you want it, okay? I just wish it was a whole suit, This is going on a flight suit. This is kind of But that's just me. If you want to receive this, make sure you subscribe before October 10th. So you've got, 2 days? 3 days? Today the 5th? You got 5 days. You got some time. Okay. Earnable in game. Our goal is to make most earnable items in game. For this reason, many subscriber flare items have been added to the in-game loot table as a rare drop from Alpha 317. Most pre-2023 items can be carried by players are now available, with new and future flare being added after 3 months. So after 3 months, and people always ask about this, something comes out. So this is coming out now in October. By January, you could possibly find this in the game, okay, or earn it. Vehicle of the month is the Drake Vulture. For those of you out there into the salvaging thing, you guys can get into your vultures and do your thing for the vehicle of the month, okay? Subscriber merchandise discount. They've got discounts this month on stuff. If you guys want stuff in the merch store, let's take a quick look and see what's on sale. They say there's a sale. There's limited stock of some of these items. Pico is sold out. Limited stock on the mugs. Woo, that steel mug is $25. Sold out on the pullovers. Those of you who enjoy imbibing, you can still get a shaker for $20. There's the Stanton pull down. I think this is the shirt that, I don't know if this is the one that Abdi wears or whether he's wearing a different one. I think there's a Carrick one, I forget. Finley, sold out. The Jumpworks mug, Origin. Of course, Origin is sold out. There's no big yet. That's a big no for me. The Origin mugs are sold out. They're gone. People used to always joke around. Yeah, look at the Origin mugs. They're still there. Yeah, they're gone because they can't afford the ships, obviously. So they just want a piece of Origin. They buy the mugs. I understand. The collectible pins are gone now. These were around for a while. They're gone. Wow. The Invictus jacket, limited. The cap is gone. These pins have been gone for a while. The RSI mugs are still around. This doesn't like this stuff's on sale. These are the regular prices. These are not on sale. All they're saying is limited and whether they're in. That's it. There's the Microtech sweater. That sweater's starting to grow on me now. I didn't like it at first, but I like it now. This is all limited stock stuff. Okay. Chairman's Club stuff. Messenger bag's been gone for a while. Even the Origin fleece pullover, which I hate, is gone. And I love Origin stuff, but I refuse to buy that one. Limited stock here. There's a lot of stuff on sale, though. Just a lot of limited stock. We're pushing a lot of stuff out. Don't forget, if you're going to CitizenCon, Tyler said that there will be a Kasaba store. They will be selling merchandise and some new stuff, they said. So if you go there, kind of look for some things there too. Okay, that's it. That's it on the store. Okay. All right, so that's the October stuff there. And there's feedback. Okay, let's move on. Okay, you guys know Day of Vara. Let's talk about the lore here. On this video clip here, they're giving us a little inkling of here what this Day of Vara thing is. What the hell happened? What happened to Vara? What the hell happened to the Vara? It was early morning, October 27, 2557, when the communication stopped. The Rator system and the exploration vessel called the Vara mysteriously stopped. Mere hours after the ship's captain, Tisiphone, I hope I pronounced that right, Tisiphone Ep.8, had sent her initial impressions of ominous ruined alien cities in the then recently discovered Hades system. Search and rescue teams dispatched the next day, along with countless expeditions, since failed to locate any wreckage or remains of the Vara until now. Yeah. Could these chilling images actually be the last transmission from the doomed Vara? What unimaginable horrors did the crew encounter in the Hades system? Phantoms of the past, the haunting legacy of this phantom ship, lives on today in public festivals adorned with black and green decorations and in private gatherings to honor the dead. Some celebrants dress up as people who have passed away, while others wear more outlandish costumes and swap scary stories, especially pertaining to mysterious incidents in space. Join us as we revel in the thrills, chills, and malevolent mystery of the season. Don't be scared now. We didn't mean to frighten you prematurely. Ooh, look at that. Them bones. Skeletons invade Arena Commander. Now, this is a good spin. It's an interesting spin, right? Because we guys know in Call of Duty and COD, they've done zombies. But yeah, Femur, I barely knew her. From October 19th to November 2nd, Arena Commander's Gun Rush mode is totally spooky with super scary, as with player models have been replaced with terrifying skellies. Got a bone to pick? Log in and start them if you got them. That would be actually cool. You know, I know, guys, I'm going off the deep end here. But could you imagine if they actually had ghost ships in the game somewhere? You know, like the Vara, if you stumble across the Vara, there's actually ghosts in there. That would be like really cool. I would love that. Let's see. The Gruesome Twosome. New ships joining the Green Gang. Thank God they're expanding those green colors to some other ships because they only had it like in 4 of them before. The Corsair and the Cutter, neither of which I own. I don't know. This gets me that Drake gets these cool, ghoulish green colors. The Corsair and the join Drake's Mad Monster Party with the ghoulish green paint. Schemes to match the rest of the gruesome gang. Pick up any and all of these altogether Uki liveries before they return to the cursed alien dimension from whence they came. So those are cool. That color is a really hot green. I love it. Here we go. Tricks and treats. Find scary surprises all over Stanton. Until November 1st, players have the chance to get a jolt of their lives when opening loot containers from Stanton. Find the coveted Van Duel, Hill Horror, or Field's Very Dark Bear helmets. There we go. All right. And add them to your creepy collection if you survive the shock, that is. What's more, players who manage to secure all 9 horrific helmets, including both versions of Neville Lot and all 6 Dark Bear variants, will also earn a super scary Spectrum badge. For those of you who are completionists like Fast Cart, you'll want that badge. All right. Calling all creeps. I actually love that, carrying the head in his hand. That's pretty cool. A blood-curdling cacophony of community contests. Day of Vara traditionally brings with it an offering of community contests. This year is no exception. Returning from the grave yet again is the pumpkin carving contest. You guys know they've done that. Always kind of cool to see what people come up with here. Let's see if anybody's dropped anything in there yet. It's still early. Okay. But you guys have seen this before with the different pumpkin carvings that people come up with. Pretty amazing to watch people put in all that effort and time into that. Julius Ray, thank you for the follow. 1973. Thank you for the follow. Let's see. To sharpen your knives, you can crack creating the scariest 60-second machinima. 60-second mayhem. They always put out some really cool machinimas too. Some people come up with some pretty scary stuff. Venomous vessels. Okay, here we go. As always, a reason to spend your money. But don't, unless you just want to spend your money. It's so close to Well, CitizenCon, I don't know, but IAE. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think you get these colors. The paints come with these ships, these Drake ships, if you guys buy them, if I'm not mistaken. The Buccaneers on sale. The Caterpillar's on sale. I'm only for the ships that have the paints, by the way. I'm sorry. The Corsair, $250. Cutlass Black, $110. Excuse me. The Cutter for $45. Drake Dragonfly, $40. The Herald, $85. The Mule, $45. The Vulture, $175. So the good thing about this is that, I remember back in the day when we'd see this and, the ships wouldn't be, they were a concept. Or they'd be hangar ready. Remember that phrase, guys? Hangar ready? And now things are flight ready, which is cool. Everything on here is flight ready. So if you're interested in these ships, you can work for them in game too. That's the good thing. I think every ship here is now available in game. Just got to work for it. That's it. Okay. Somebody's dropping me a message. I'll check that out in a second here. Can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Here we go. If you want to get all your ghoulish green colors, there you go, $42. And then they've got the individual ones. That green really does look good on these ships. I will say that. If nothing else, it really does look good on all these different ships. So kudos to CIG for that. That green is hot. I think I've only got one. I think I've got the one for the, what is it? I've got the one for the Drake Cutlass. I've got that one. Oh no, and I got the Dragonfly one because I do own a Dragonfly. I do have that. Okay. The Herald looks good. That Herald looks good with that green. So does the Mule. Ooh, I own a Vulture. I have to think about that. I will really have to think about that. All right, limited time extras. Here they are. These are the ones that come with the colors, guys, okay? So you can get the starter pack, the Drake Chillers and Killers pack. That's an interesting spin. They're marketing people, as always, spinning the wheels over there. You can get all the Fiendish Bears, okay? Or you can get them individually. Yeah, that's it. Guava Bear. Oh, my God. Okay, let's go on. More ground to cover. Oh, we're just at the top of the hour. Okay. I'm buying that ship in area ship game with UEC. Yeah, there you go. UEC, that's the way to go. I got to save my money for LA. Yes, Abdi, save your money for LA. Absolutely. Okay. Let's get into this here, gang. The roadmap roundup. Happy Wednesday. Every 2 weeks, we accompany blah, blah, blah. We already know this. Every 2 weeks, they give us the updates on where things are. Notable changes for October 4th. This week, we're introducing 3.21 column to the roadmap. So this is in the roadmap now, which will house features and contents that were previously listed in 3.20.x. We've made the decision to increment the 3.20.x patch nomenclature to, I can't even say the word, to Alpha 3.21. The primary reason for this increment is to signify that Star Citizen is approaching the next major milestone in its online networking technology, which warrants a proper step up. During the 3.21 patch cycle, we will introduce a new testing channel aimed at graduating new underlying technology. We read all this earlier. We read this. We read this about the replication layer, persistent entity streaming, and server meshing. Okay. Release view. With this published, we're clarifying where each of the features previously stated in 3.20.x would land in the patch cycle. Below is the full list with a pair of new cards marked as such. Okay. Alpha 3.20. New Crusader platforms. Here we go. 2.1.0. The new Crusader platforms. Adding 3 new points of interest, new POIs, and Crusader's atmosphere, providing new locations for missions and loot. You guys know about this. CIG told us this several months back when they did, I think it was 3.18 or 19. They wanted to put out these platforms because everything that was going on for Siege of Orison, they had these new missions. But once somebody calls on a mission, it kind of locks down that platform, and they couldn't introduce new missions because there's just only one place to do it. So they decided to expand it to these new platforms that have new layouts and new designs. And now when you get a mission, you can get launched into any of those platforms which I think is great. I also like it because it will hopefully, if they're doing this, and I'm hoping that it's variable, that it changes, that you won't always go to the same platform to do the same mission. Hopefully the missions move around, kind of like how we do with what's it called? Jump. What's it called, guys? I'm having a brain fart here. What's the name of the thing we do? Jumptown. Thank you, prisoner. Thank you for coming to the rescue. Just like how Jumptown moves around, hopefully these missions will jump around on these different platforms, okay? New missions, the Retrieve Consignment. A new mission type where players are tasked with locating critical items in consignment lists and safely extract them. Those are new missions that we're looking forward to. Those of you who've been looking forward for content, here we go. New mission, Steal Evidence. New. A criminal mission type where players are tasked with infiltrating security post-Korea and stealing files from Crusader security for hefty payout. We had heard about this a while back. It's finally coming in. Looking forward to that. Last but not least, the Crusader A1 Spirit. Building, balancing, implementing Crusaders Industries Light Bomber, the A1 Spirit, into the game. We know that they're going to kick this out. Probably we'll see this at CitizenCon. I don't think we have to, because this is in 3.20, not X. So I don't think we have to think about that being held until IAE. I think that's going to come pretty quick. Now, 3.21.x is another story. Not sure this is going to happen before CitizenCon. Not sure if it's going to get dropped to CitizenCon. Not sure if it's going to come after, but we're going to hear about it for sure, if nothing else. Replication layer update. We just read this a little while ago about the replication layer is going to be moved off of the game servers. Will be on their own now. It's going to be standalone service, okay? Vehicle tractor beams. Implementing vehicle tractor beams attached to ships, either remote operated or turret-like attachment. This allows players to move and tow bigger objects, including other ships. So you guys know that the Hull C came out. It's got 2 tractor beams that will assist with being able to move things on and off of its platforms, which is cool, right? You don't have to have an SRV there necessarily. If for some reason you find a bunch of cargo that's floating in space, you'll be able to take the ship and go out and use the tractor beams that are on your ship to put those boxes and attach them to the different panels. So that's going to be kind of cool. Tractor beams are on the Taurus. Tractor beams are on the Cutlasses. Tractor beams are on what's the other ship? Caterpillar. Tractor beams are on the Hull C. And tractor beams are on, what am I missing, you guys? Is that it? Ships with tractor beams. And of course the SRV. Tractor beams are on the Expanse. Tractor beams are on I think there are tractor beams on the Raft too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So anyway, tractor beams are all over the place. Okay. Plus there's a tractor beam. They were supposed to get this like rifle size. You guys remember seeing that? They have like the multi-tool, but then they've got one that's like large, right? And I think that's going to be the one for moving bigger boxes, because they said the multi-tool, it can move a 32 SCU right now, but that's going to change, right? It's going to be too big for that to move. So anyway, that's that. The SRV, Argo SRV, building and implementing balancing the Argo's tugboat, the SRV, as a game-ready vehicle. And again, you can move ships. They also talked about, what was it they talked about? They talked about a couple weeks back when they talked about the Argo SRV and tractor beams. They talked about ships being able to move ships proportionate to themselves. So an SRV can move something like a Cutlass, right? Probably it can move a Freelancer. Ships in that scale and size, MSR, maybe, I don't know. But I think once you start getting Connie size and above, then you start needing to have 2 SRVs. And then if you get higher, maybe you have to have 3 SRVs. So it's going to be interesting to see how this gets coordinated. Moving things like scrap around and stuff is one thing, and that's cool. But towing ships or moving ships out of an area, I mean, believe it or not, even moving a ship is going to be important. If you get into some type of conflict with someone, and let's say that for some reason the conflict takes place, if you can get some people in to get in and get your ship out of there before somebody strips it, or before somebody boards it, that would be kind of a cool thing too. So yeah, the SRV is going to be coming. All right. So anyway, that's it for this week. Okay. That's everything that's going to be happening. I did want to go take a look at, since I'm here, the roadmap. Development, roadmap, release view. Let's see what my buddy Montoya's trying to tell me something. What is he telling me? Oh, okay. All right, let's see. They've added this to the tracker. 3.21. I don't know why my page is doing weird stuff here. Is it because I'm zoomed in like that? Maybe that's what it is. Okay, there we go. I've got to zoom out a little bit, guys. I know you may not be able to read. Okay, so in 3.21, they've got down Crusader platforms, new points of interest, right? That's what's been added in 3.21. In gameplay, the missions consignment, we talked about vehicle tractor beams. Oh, wow. Just the SRV. New mission still evidence. 2 a.m. Gamer 81. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. All right. We've got all that being. That's committed. So that we know the still evidence is committed. They're still working on the tractor beams, and the new mission retrieve consignment has been committed for gameplay. For ships and vehicles, the A1 Spirit is committed. The C1 is tentative, still working on that one. The Tumbrel Storm is tentative, still working on that one. And the SRV is tentative, still working on that one. So those will all be 3.21.x probably, okay? And maybe we'll see them in CitizenCon as far as, them showing them to us, right? Hopefully that'll be the case with that. And then with the core tech, the replication layer, we know that's tentative. They're going to be working on that, okay? Okay. We're knocking it out so far, guys. I'm going to have a little bit earlier show today. Let's get to this last topic here. You guys know that we talked about 3.20 coming out, then 3.21 coming out. But one of the unexpected things that came out again that nobody saw coming was this release of the jump gates, the new jump points that are going to be in the Stanton system. On Sunday, while we were doing our 12-hour live stream, CIG decided to release a patch that we found out on Sunday. I don't know if it was Saturday night or when, but I know Sunday we found out about it. They released this patch where the new station, Lagrange Station, it's not named yet, is in Stanton for Pyro. And Sunday night, a group of us from Soul Citizens got together after the show. Some got together during the show and took a ride out there and saw it. And so after the show was over with, I decided I was going to join them. And so before I show you that, though, I want to show you a video that I put together back in 2019, 2020. It was a couple of years back. I put this together. And I titled it, who's gonna make it to Pyro first? So
let's do it.
Let's see, is this it? Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, the race for Pyro, who will win? Now, a lot of you guys remember this. And I'm going to stop and talk about stuff. When we saw this, we were very excited, but it also raised a lot of controversy. CIG, there were a lot of people who said, oh, that's going to be how you get to Pyro. There's going to be this jump gate. And, again, a lot of things that CIG shows us are things that this is what they're thinking about doing or they want to do. Some things are about proof of concept, right? And Chris Roberts is somewhat of I don't know what the word is. It's not perfectionist. It's not the word I want to say. But he can be very particular about how things are presented to the community and when they're presented. And when they showed a jump gate, we never heard about gates in the lore too much. We didn't hear it. And we have always heard about jump points and wormholes. And in fact, when you go on the star map, that's what you see are wormholes. But I was just kind of wondering about whether or not they would do this. Let me go back and read some chat too, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not ignoring it, but I'm busy talking, not paying attention. Let's see. Not saying it's going to be me, but release of the SRV will lead to a lot of ship theft. You know what? It's Eminence. I don't know if it's going to be a lot of ship theft. there's always this initial reaction to what the community does when something comes in the game, right? And CIG can put some guardrails in to prevent certain things. Remember when the med guns first came out and people were shooting each other, they were doping people up and making them pass out. And then CIG kind of implemented a thing where you couldn't do that anymore. You couldn't do it in a city. People couldn't even get out of the hospital and they were doping people up. And there are some things that they can do on a tech side to guardrail some things so that it doesn't break gameplay so much and make complete safe zones. But I've also noticed that when players have something to do, the bulk of them stay away from the dumb stuff. You're always going to have the person who's the prankster, who's going to go out there and mess with people. I think no matter what you do, you're going to have somebody who does that. But it seems that when the boredom is removed and when players are given something better to do, they'll drift toward better, So there are some things they said you won't be able to do. For example, you can't tow a ship without permission. You can't do that. You have to have a permission. And they said the permissions may be shields being down or ship being powered down. People can try. They said that you can try to tow a ship, but if the ship is powered up and everything, it's not going to be worth it. It's going to be a struggle. So some things are going to be, when things become, it's not worth a player's time. It's not worth the effort. It's not worth the lulls, right? And if CIG builds those things into the game, but still preserve the ability to do gameplay or preserve the fact of being able to steal a ship in a certain kind of way, then I think it'll be okay. But I don't think that we'll have to worry about it too much. People were saying the same thing about when tractor beams came out. They're going to be snatching stuff off of ships, right? And, you have to be able to unlock a ship and stuff. So they were able to put a game mechanic in there that makes sense and prevents people from doing it. But we'll see. Game packs, at least, are hard to say. Expensive packs will be, in other words, maybe see you cutting freelancers, yeah. Not just that, game packages may be full A game prices by then. We'll have to see what game packages turn out to be. Kaizen, honest question, not trolling. What happens first? Actual in-life human boots on Mars or Star Citizen release? I'm guessing boots on Mars in 20. I can't. Stand for life. Be decided SC before then. It's an honest question, Kai. I mean, I get what your parallel is as far as technology and things moving. I would say Mars or Star Citizen. I'm going to say Star Citizen, Kai. Seriously. There's still a lot of hurdles with space travel from the human condition of going to Mars, the technology of bringing a ship there and landing. We know we've done that. But you're also building on technology that has existed since the 1950s, right? It's not like they just started flying ships into space. They just started doing it again. So, and you've got the advancement of technology too, which is also making us do things in a much faster pace than they did in the 60s and in the late 50s and 60s when it comes to going to space. But there's still a lot of hurdles we haven't been able to accomplish yet. I mean, we're still struggling with doing things in orbit with the International Space Station, let alone the human condition of traveling to someplace like Mars. Once we arrive, will it be we arrive in orbit and come back? Will we arrive and go and land? Will we arrive and land and get out? Will they do that process? Will it be just one thing? We get there, we know we can land, we know we can get out, right? Maybe they won't have to do like they did with the Apollo missions and stuff. So I think it's a good question, how fast it'll happen. I can't wait to see technology in space move to that level. But as far as this goes, and when we say what finished, I don't look at Star Citizen, the unit PU as finished like that. I think that we can get to, when will it be a stable game that's reliable, that we can go in and play, and they're building on it? Then I would say, my guess is, this is 2023. 2025. That's my year. 2025. 2025, we're at beta level, where that it is literally a game that you can rely on. 30Ks are not an issue. Stability is fine. Performance is fine. People can come into the game and have a good experience, not walk away frustrated. The bugs are not like bugs. They're like any other game with bugs. They're not like breaking immersion or anything like that. I'm going to give it 2025 for the PU. That's going to be my estimation. And maybe by 2025, we may be on Mars. It might be the race, right? The race to space for both of them, right? I think it could be a race for both of them. But we'll see. We can't do Mars like the moon because of the window. Have to stay on Mars for a minimum. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, it's no joke to go there. Boy, and think about all the things they're going to have to take to get to Mars. I mean, just the redundancy. You know, you start thinking about what was the movie where he went to Mars and then they had the problem, they got stuck there. I can't think of the name of it. You guys know which movie I'm talking about. I mean, there's a lot of contingencies and things to think about taking people out to Mars and getting them back safely. I can't wait to watch The Martian. Yeah, that'd be easy to remember, right? Guy, I should have remembered it. Yeah, the book was good. I did read the book. It was good. Okay, let me keep going here. I was talking about this jump gates thing. I want to spend some time on this. When they brought up this thing with gates, I kind of wrestled with would I be cool with jump gates. I didn't think that jump gates were going to be the exclusive way to move around in the universe. And I think the reason why a Stargate didn't bother me is because when I was a kid, there was a book called Stargate, not the TV show, because the TV show was much later. I'm talking when I was a kid in high school, when it was the first science fiction book. I cannot remember who the author was, but it was about this company that found a wormhole, if I'm remembering correctly, and they stumbled across it, but they wanted it to remain stable. And so they created this Stargate. But the idea was that once they built this thing, people would know about it. And how would they deal with not only people wanting to use it, but what was on the other side of it, right? And the idea of a gate warmed my heart to a certain degree, not in sense of Star Citizen, just I remembered that from being a kid. And then when I saw this introduction of a Stargate here, I was like, ooh, are they thinking about this? Now, here's my deal. I prefer the natural phenomenon of a wormhole. That's what I prefer. There's reasons why, because those of you who played Eve know that a gate is a pain in the butt, right? Especially a gate this size. Because in Eve, when you were jumped through a gate, there would be people there that'd be ready to snare you when you came through. It was a very narrow portal. And if you had enough people that could put up these bubbles that basically stopped you when you came through, you almost had to be prepared to go into a fight or hope and pray that you came out in a certain way that maybe they didn't catch you. I mean, it was a headache. And don't get me wrong, it was challenging, but the scales didn't balance. You know, it could be to the point where it was like 90% chance you were going to get stopped in a gate. It wasn't 50-50. It wasn't 60-40. It wasn't 70-30. It was 90% chance at some gates you knew you were going to get stopped. And so I was hoping that that wouldn't get introduced into this. And the idea of a wormhole, when Chris first showed us the wormhole years ago, and when we saw a couple years ago when Jax went to Pyro, we saw the scale of the wormhole. I'm not talking about the coil. I'm talking about the wormhole, right? They showed us how big the Pyro thing was. And I was like, now that's what I'm talking about. Then they said the wormhole could have various entrances in it, different size ships, depending on where you go through. I'm like, yeah, I'm digging that now. So maybe there's one for smaller ships, one for mediums, one for capitals. And I'm like, okay, I'm digging that now. And then you look at the scale of a wormhole. It's like, you can take your Mantis all out there if you want. Good luck. You know, maybe you'll catch me, maybe you won't. But at least I felt the odds were brought to a much more even pace. Now, let me come back to a gate. The reason why I thought a gate could be feasible, and I'm not a scientist, so those of you who are into astronomy and know physics and astrophysics and all that, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But the idea of a man-made gate being put in to stabilize a wormhole was interesting to me. If there was a temporary anomaly that popped up somewhere and the UEE decided to temporarily, for some reason, put a gate up, and maybe that gate would be fought over, right? Maybe it would be a gate that goes up and is literally fought over. And maybe even the gate could be destroyed. And if it's destroyed, then the wormhole becomes unstable and goes away. So it's important for some people to keep the gate there. For other people, getting rid of the gate needs to be done because it creates some other type of traffic to bring maybe an org into another area that you don't want them to be in, or people can come in. That was the idea of a gate for me, that if they put it in, not a permanent fixture, but something that they would put into the game that would stabilize a wormhole. And if people want to fight over it, fine. Now, you don't have to do that. The UE doesn't have to build one. It could still remain a temporary anomaly, and you're taking a chance of passing through it and maybe it disappearing on you and you're stuck wherever you go. But I thought that if they introduced the gate and they built it in such a way that it would work within the gameplay and the lore, then that would be kind of cool. A Stargate is just the explanation of a device theorized by Einstein. Yep. Discussion of Einstein. Yeah. Using two black holes to create a quantum tunnel. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Completely theoretical. Again, and that's why I said instead of it creating the wormhole, that this gate would be used more as a stabilizing factor for a temporary one that pops up. But yeah, I mean black hole, wormhole. Yeah. But anyway, you guys get the idea. We'll see what happens. Anyone who says they have an idea, I'm making it up. Okay, so let me let you guys watch the rest of this video. Okay, let's talk about the video here. I've been yapping too long. So this was when we saw it the first time. For those of you who never saw this was 2019, I think. And everybody was so excited. We cheered.
That's actually super cool. I get that, Eddie. That looks awesome. Yeah.
I do love the effect inside. That swirling is so cool. It's like water, like a water effect.
Okay.
And that's who I said was going to get through the wormhole first. That was the race I was talking about right there.
So going through a wormhole is a little bit like riding the rapids. You don't really have much. You have lateral control, but it's a little bit of forward, but you'll be pushed on a current.
Stop video. Okay, let me stop that one, and let me show you this one. Let's see. Now, this was the other day when I went. Now, this was on Sunday, and this is when I was with my friends with Soul Citizens. And many of them were there already. I think Colossal was there, Jade was there, some other people were there. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna catch up with you guys. So I didn't want to watch any videos. I wanted to experience this without watching YouTube and see what it was like. And I will tell you how I felt after I watched this. Check this out. That was it, pulling up to it. And I saw the scale of that. And I was like, wow. That's crazy. You can kind of see the outline there, but flying into this was amazing. Now, this was on Sunday. And on Sunday, there was still a lot of artifacts. You guys can see the graphics. And those of you who went there earlier, you know that there were graphics there. It was kind of funky. You couldn't see very well through the cloud. It was very dangerous flying up to the station because you couldn't see through one of these walls that was black. But you can see some of the people who are here. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. And you can see little parts of the station. This is the Pyro station. What's also cool is each one of these stations is distinctively different. They all have their own design style and look, which is pretty nice. They were still pulling all this together though. But when I went through here, I was like really digging this. So I landed, I got out, I went inside. This station is a full station, just like any other station. Has all the stores in it. On Sunday, you could not go to the cargo deck. You could not go to the security deck, you know, the military deck down there where the big ships land. But now you can. That has all been added and fixed. They've also fixed the graphical aspects of the clouds now. It looks beautiful to fly into this place. Really big station. This was me flying around outside again, taking another look at it. The scale of this was really, really big. It's a huge station, gang, if you haven't been there. It really is big.
That link on yeah.
You can see all the artifacts, the weird artifacts that are out there. This is when you start getting near the area where you actually jump. And I'm going to show you another video here where someone, I want to make sure I give some credit to the person who did this video. This was by Cebix. Cebix flew there, and this is going to Terra. There are gates for Magnus, Terra, and Pyro now in Stanton. Each one of them distinctively different. Each one of them do have the area where you get ready to jump into the wormhole. Now, the wormhole is not there, gang. You do see the cloud and everything, and you see where you would launch into it. But the actual wormhole, you can't go to Pyro. Don't try to go to Pyro. Don't try to go to Magnus. Don't try to go to Terra. Another surprising factor to this, though, is that they added these. We expected Pyro. I don't think any of us expected Terra and Magnus. I think that caught all of us off guard. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to put those systems out. What I am saying is that it's interesting that they decided to drop them. So I'll tell you my thoughts after you watch this. Here's Cebix's video, and you can see from a distance, you can see what that looks like now. It looked completely different before. This is like a pale circle, but now you can see the detail in this thing. And actually, I think I have this at low res. Yep, I do. Sorry about that, gang. Let me give you a better look of it here. see that station looks a lot different than the one at Pyro. Completely different looking station. Off in the distance here, where you see all these lights and stuff over in the upper left, that is where you jump out at. This is the station, and then you have to travel out to where this is, where the jump point is. And he's going to go there in a second. There, this is the area where you jump from. And as you're here, you'll see signs, the holographic signs here, advertising, and they'll say things like that you're on your way to Terra, leaving. It'll tell you about last stop for getting your fuel. They'll remind you of all that great stuff, right? But this is what it looks like as you're going through, headed toward the gate to leave out. You've got the runway lights there, so you know how to line your ship up and everything. It's very cool. Let me jump back there again. See here, what you're shipping is important is what you're shipping in. Talk about storage. I was actually laughing because some of the banners over by Pyro, they have banners that actually do like this, like they're flapping in the wind. And when I first saw it, I said, how do they have banners out here flapping in the wind? Then I realized it was a hologram. I'm like, oh, okay. Duh. It was just a hologram because it looked so real from a distance. I thought they actually had banners floating in the wind, but it was very, very cool. Now, what I want to tell you is how I felt about this when I got here. And those of you who've been there, if you want to come in and talk to me about this, you can. But I want to share my thoughts real quickly about this. When I got here for the first time, I actually felt a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? I felt a certain kind of way. This only happened a couple times when I've been playing Star Citizen. I think the first time it happened was definitely when we got Port Olisar. We had left the hangars. We had been in this hangar looking at a static ship that didn't move, that all you could do was get in the ladder and go inside. Nothing lit up, nothing worked. And we could do Arena Commander, I think. But then you woke up on Port Olisar and you went into the little, airlock, and you heard the sounds and the lights rotate, and the doors opened up and you choked because you forgot to put a helmet on. No, you went outside and you stood out on the platform. And when you went out and stood on the platform, there were two things that kept me in awe. One of them was watching the spindles spin outside. They're huge, right? You look at them and say, oh my God, look how big these things are. And you see them just slowly turning. And then the second thing that blew you away was looking at Crusader and watching Crusader. And if you looked at it, you could actually see the clouds moving very slowly around it, right? And you said, wow, you see the scale of this universe and the possibilities of what they could do, right? Then the second time it hit me was when we got the moons. And I went to Daymar for the very first time, and I flew in a Cutlass Black. And I remember going to the moon and seeing it, and the idea that it wasn't just an image out there, but that it was actually something I could land. And I landed the Cutlass down on this weird angle. I landed, and the ship was buggy, and it was kind of at a weird angle. And I got out of the ship. And back then, you used to be scared getting out of places because, this is when you found out about falling through planets. You guys remember that, right? Falling through planets. Who remembers falling through a moon? Something that you don't have happen hardly ever now, but back in the day it was common. But I remember getting out and walking on the moon and walking on Daymar, and I remember seeing those weird little plants that look like a busted cantaloupe, and it looked kind of scary looking because of the way it looked. And I remember it was like I was out there walking at like 5 and 6 frames a second. It was terrible. It was like, But I remember what that felt like and saying, wow, we've gone from this platform to how we're walking on a planet, and then walking on a moon rather. And that was the 2 times I really remember feeling like what I'm backing and supporting is moving forward and doing something. But this time, when I did this jump, I felt that same thing again. Now, I felt it from a different perspective, though, and I wasn't tired. I wasn't aggravated and frustrated when I did those first 2. But this one, everybody's feeling the wear of time passing and anticipation and frustration and successes and all that stuff. And so now when I got here, I felt like we're at the cusp of a change in the game. And it's not just because of the wormhole. From back in 2013 and 14 and 15, there were always these timelines of things that we had to get past, right? We had to get past SOX, and we had to get past this, and we had to get past PEA, all these different things, server meshing. All these things were technical hurdles that were always the blockers for us. They were the next big thing. We knew when we got to this, we had to do this next. And after that, there's going to be this, right? But it dawned on me the other day that many of those hurdles are now behind us, and that there are still hurdles ahead, but the list is a little bit shorter. Some of those things are server meshing. We've got to deal with static server meshing. We've got to deal with dynamic server meshing. And we've got to deal with the aspect of the sharding, getting things down to, instead of us being on a bunch of different networks, whittling that down to regions and then breaking it down into less. And maybe, I don't know if they're going to do it, get us down to one server, one shard that everybody's on. Huge technical feat, but we're moving closer and closer to that. The wormhole represents 4.0 for me. Now, whether we get it and they go to 4.0 or not, maybe 4.0 will be server meshing. Maybe they'll give us going through the wormhole as a 3.22 or 3.21x. I don't know what CIG's plan is. But if they've tied the wormhole, going through it, not having it, but going through it to 4.0, then we're very close. Now, will CIG, this is Griff talking, y'all. Will CIG do an old school at CitizenCon and at the end of the con say, and by the way, 4.0 or Pyro is dropped? They could. It could be nothing more than they put it here now and they're going to show it to us. You know, we've already seen it though, right? We've already been through the wormhole. We already took that mission to Pyro 3 where we went down to the settlement and had a gunfight and flew the 400i around. We've already been with Jax and seen Ruin Station and all that stuff. So are they going to show us anything different to just say, well, this is what Pyro is? Or is CIG really looking to deliver something that says you can jump through now? You know, that would be my biggest thing. If they did that at CitizenCon, I'd be ecstatic that they say you can jump through Pyro now. Even if there's nothing over there, you know, and I say nothing, I mean, they're still working on stuff. But the reality of it is they've been working on Pyro. They've been working on Terra. They've been working on Magnus. They've been working on Nyx. They showed us stuff with Nyx way back. So, you know, they got 1,100 employees at CIG. They haven't been sitting around twiddling their thumbs about Stanton. Stanton has been a proving ground and testing ground, but they've also been taking what they've been learning from that and starting to build out these other systems. And I'm hoping that what that means is that when the technology is in place, when static server meshing is in place, it will allow them to drop 2 systems, 3 systems at a time, not one system every year. People say, oh, it's going to take 30, 40 years. I think it will take 10, 20 years because of the scale. But I'm saying that if they take 10, 20 years, it's also because they're putting in 2 and 3 systems a year. You know, 2 and 3 systems a year says that in 10 years, that's 30 systems. But what happens if they're able to scale that up? What happens if it becomes 5 systems come out? You know, and so now in 10 years, you know, you got 50 systems. Listen, 100 systems sounds great, and it's great for the long term. But guess what? Y'all not going to visit 100 systems. You know how long it'll take you to visit 100 of these systems? I'm talking about exploring them. Sure, you could travel from here to there, just skipping through wormholes, but that's not going to be the element of the game. You know, unlike Elite Dangerous, where people were into it because they were into the science and the astronomy and they wanted to be able to travel and look at planets, they were very happy with being able to do that. But Star Citizen isn't based around that. Star Citizen is about going to those systems and there's something to investigate and do and find and interact with, socially engaging, which means that there's got to be content in some of those systems. Now, there are going to be some systems where there's not a lot there, but for any of you who've watched lore makers, you look at all their lore, there's stories behind every one of these systems that we've gone through. Some of them are occupied. Some of them have places where we as players will build up settlements. Some of them are places that are NPC driven or predominantly NPC. Some of them are empty, but there are other pieces of aspect of lore and history that are there to engage in. So I've always said that if we have 5 systems in this game, to me, we can go into beta. That's beta. 3 systems could be beta, but 5 for sure. That means that now it's about creating the content. It's not about the technology anymore, but it's about the content. And so I'm hopeful that CitizenCon will be not just a revelation of ideas, but also a presentation of what CIG is about to give us very soon. I'm hoping that the IAE expands on that even more, not just about ships, but that's tied into it as well. And then 4.0, Kai and I were talking about this last week, second quarter next year. If Evocati gets it first quarter, after they come back from the holidays and they get like 318, they get a good 2-3 months to really work on it. And that maybe by second quarter next year, we get 4.0, which would set us up to get ready for Invictus. It would get us set up for Gamescom on a business level. There's a lot of different things that they'll have to factor into what goes into the game. Let's see what folks are saying. Road to real change 2020. That's too late, Kai. It's not going to be that long. Goodness, that's 2031. Jesus Christ, that's another 8 years. You wouldn't be the first. Imminent shadow. Ooh, brother, I need some of whatever you're smoking. Let the brother dream. Yeah, I laughed at myself for being so proud. Only moments earlier, still had a blast and got hooked. Yeah, I've been working on Terra in a meaningful way. You know, we saw proof of Terra back 8 years ago. You know, see, the interesting thing is landing zones and planets and landing zones. They've been doing on that that's not new stuff. They've been working on that. It's not that the stuff's not done. It's that they can't put it in because we have to worry about resources and performance and all that other stuff. The tech has to be there to support it. So they could have, and I'm not saying this, guys, this is true. They could have 20 systems done. You know, I'm talking about the base elements of them. And now they have to start putting in all the detail stuff. And we know that they can generate systems in very fast amounts of times, the moons and planets and stuff. But the landing zones and all the other stuff, the technology is still being developed. That still has to be added. But, you know, there's emphasis on Squadron 42. And then we know there's a lot of tech that's in Squadron 42. But there's also been work on Star Citizen for years, you know. Just not in our hands. Let's see. It's about time to go. Wow. Did somebody come into the chat? If you did and I didn't hear you, please, I'm sorry if I missed you. Quite a few systems are pretty empty in the sense of landing zones, which will take a lot of time. Yeah. People will have to do it for exploration. Yeah, did it in Eve. Yep. I expect skip past some systems to get to other systems. Yeah. That I'm personally more interested in. Yeah, Eminence, I mean, for sure. They're going to be some places. You're not going to stop everywhere. You know what I mean? Other than to get fuel, right? You're not going to stop everywhere because everybody's got that system that they want to go check out. They want to hang out in, right? They want to set up their shop and plant their feet in. I get that. Yeah. Yeah, Terra was the first system before they swapped out to Stanton. Yeah, Terra. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Vega. Yeah, Vega. Yeah, Vega. Server meshing. Yeah, server meshing. You know, server meshing isn't new, Malkari. I know you know that. But it's the type of thing that they're doing. They're doing something that's on a different scale of meshing. And it has to be able to support so much. You know, so many games that have things like server meshing and stuff. Problem is the inventory management and the scale of inventory tracking is not the same. You know, I played 7 Days to Die. And 7 Days to Die was in a certain square location. It was only like a town, right? It wasn't even a country or a city. It was a town. And you could put stuff down and pick things up. It wasn't like any animations involved. You just dropped it and clicked on it, like in Starfield. You know, you see a sandwich, you just click on it, it goes into your inventory. But you know, Star Citizen has the physicality of all these physicalized items. You know, your animations are going out and grabbing it. They have to match it. There's all this stuff that goes into it, right? All that is in the code. And we don't really think about it that way. You know, we don't realize all that detail and immersion that Chris Roberts wants in his games is also part of what's making this thing so difficult, right? The inventory aspect is huge. You know, think about all the stuff that we're going to acquire over time, you know, and all the stuff that you acquire over time at all these different locations that's accessible, that is accessible even to me, that I can gain access to things. There's a whole lot of tech. We start building all that up and saying, we've got to future-proof this thing. We can't just build it for right now, but we also be able to build it so that years down the line, it's still supported. You know, they've already got issues with having to go back and get rid of old code and fixing things. That's why we had to lose Port Olisar. Port Olisar basically aged. It aged out. They could no longer add anything new to it. They always had to do a special amount of work on it because it didn't match everything else in the system. So they've got to be able to build this universe so that that is not an issue anymore. There'll always be upgrades. We got ships that need to be upgraded to gold standard, and gold standard was only up to where we are now. There's still more that ships don't do. So there's just a lot of stuff that has to be done, you know? They won't release all at once. The measured releases, yeah, for sure. I imagine they'll go up the pace though with old work. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, guys. You guys are sharing good stuff. Really good stuff. I think that was all I was going to share with you guys today. I think. Yeah, I love this. I love it. If you haven't done it yet, do it. I think that you'll get a slight wow. You get maybe some of you maybe a big wow. I don't know, but yeah, definitely want you guys to check this out. I think you will definitely enjoy that. Okay, and kudos to CIG. You know, I think that they have, you know, hopefully the hope that they have sprung with this fountain this past week does not become one that turns on them and becomes a disaster. I don't believe, and this is going to be my other thing, and I could be wrong, y'all. I don't think CIG put this in for the heck of it. They did not have to put these gates in. They could still have been testing the things that they're testing in relation to persistence and all that without the gates, without these gates. So why put these gates in and get everybody fired up if something's not going to get delivered fairly soon? Fairly soon. I don't know what fairly is. CitizenCon? Maybe. If they deliver this at CitizenCon, I'm going to cheer and applaud them. If they deliver it as a part of next year, you know, I'll cheer and applaud them. If they drop 2 systems, I will have a cheer and drink to them. And if they deliver 3 systems within the next year, I'm going to slap anybody else who has anything to say about Star Citizen. I said that earlier to some friends of mine and they laughed. Anyway, all right, let's get to it. Let's get right down to it. I am done for the night. Looks like our good friend Space Tomato is on. So we are going to send you guys over to our good friend Space Tomato. Tomato's a great guy. You guys all know him. He and his wife work together on his streams, and they do an awesome job keeping the community up to date. So let's get ready to set up a raid for him. When you guys get over to Space Tomato, let him know that you came over from Griff. Don't forget our Thursday show tonight with Fast Cart, Soul Talk, roundtable discussion. You can come in, talk with a group of other people who enjoy Star Citizen, have your thoughts on that show. Saturday, I think I'm doing Soul Voices. I think, I'm not sure, but hopefully I'll be on at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Tonight will be 9 p.m. Eastern. And then this Sunday, we're doing a show called Working at CIG, talking about the different job and positions and roles that people take at CIG. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us for that and learn more about that, because I'm going to learn some stuff too. I got to start doing research this week too. I haven't finished. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. To everybody who chatted in chat, really appreciate you guys as always. For those of you who followed today, thank you as well. I appreciate you. And don't forget to like and subscribe and follow. And hopefully I'll see you guys here next Tuesday. And till then, peace, love, and soul. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe and have a great weekend. Ciao.